In the ongoing saga of allegations of SA against Jay-Z and Diddy, he recently suffered a pretty major setback. If you guys haven't been keeping up, this is a terrible story. It's all alleged. We don't know if it's true. This kind of follows the idea of everything that's been happening with Diddy, but now they're tying in Jay-Z, alleging that 2 decades ago, he and Diddy essayed a 13-year-old. Come to find out, this 13-year-old has done some anonymous interviews with the news. Some things are inconsistent about her story. She was in Rochester. A friend drove her 5 hours to New York City. Then her dad supposedly picked her up after it happened. Dad has no recollections of this happening. So I'm saying all this with a lot of caveats that this may not be true. Okay,
Gotcha.
She's autistic. Okay, there's multiple variables in this. The lawyer,
The victim?
yes, the lawyer who is leading this lawsuit has all kinds of speculation around his name, all kinds of crazy stuff. So this is craziness, but of course, Diddy, Jay-Z, Jay-Z's weird history, Beyonce's weird history, the industry, all this sort of stuff. There's been murmurings about Jay-Z for a very long time. Well, he had a setback in his lawsuit where they tried to make the victim reveal her identity, and a judge shut it down. Go ahead.
Judge has ruled the woman alleging she was by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs can remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name, but the judge disagreed.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. But the judge...
So here's the arguments against this being real. One, both Jay-Z and Diddy were at 2 totally different after parties that night. That's been documented.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, I don't know if they've been able to find the exact mansion location in Manhattan within a 20-minute drive that they would have been able to. Her timeline doesn't match up from when she says she arrived to when it happened to when she woke up. Now, again, maybe she got her timelines wrong. There's a lot of fishy stuff about this case all across the board.
Gotcha.
I think people have been skeptical of Jay-Z and Beyonce for a very long time, and that's why they're looking at it that way.
The lawyers representing Jay-Z, accusing them of trying to fast-track the judicial process by repeatedly filing motions to reveal the identity of the Jane Doe to have the case dismissed.
Pause it. I don't know how I feel about this need to reveal her identity. I think that's kind of janky.
Yeah. That seems like a conflict of interest, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, of course I wouldn't want my identity revealed if I was going out seeking a case and against Jay-Z
And Diddy. Yeah.
It's like,
Or at least not in this part of the process.
yeah.
At least not in this part of the process. But usually I feel like these victims end up having their identity eventually revealed. And the judge is like, you guys are tripping trying to prolong this whole process.
Gotcha.
You know? Go ahead.
Writing in a 5-page brief that the Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because the counsel demands it. This
Judge put his foot down.
Yeah.
He said, you don't get to run the show here, Mr. Sean Carter, Mr. Billionaire,
Hello.
Mr. No One Runs a City Like Us, Mr. H to the Izzo. You don't get the...
You'll find out who really runs the city.
Yeah, this ain't Rock Nation.
Yeah.
You know, this is not your domain. We decide how this runs. So that's interesting. You know, and again, this dude probably has the best lawyers money can buy.
Yes.
You know, go ahead.
latest legal twist coming after the recently filed civil lawsuit by Jane Doe, claiming that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and P. Diddy, a 13-year-old girl at an after party after the MTV Music Awards in 2000, while an unnamed celebrity watched. Jay-Z has vehemently denied all the allegations, putting out this statement 2 weeks ago, writing in part, "This is a blackmail attempt." The multi-platinum artist, who was 30 at the time...
Which, by the way, they never asked for money. So I don't know how they can claim this was a blackmail attempt. I think she just wanted to confront him about it.
But
and have
this
a
a
private
civil
meeting.
case?
It's a civil case.
Which is ultimately...
outside of the statute of limitations for New York State.
Yeah.
So they couldn't have filed it criminally.
That's true. But civil results in money.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But she was just trying to have a private conversation with him. That's what the lawyer said when we reacted to it in a previous video. So who knows what that means? Now, I'm curious, timeline. Was he there? Can they prove he was there?
Yeah.
Can they prove Diddy was there? What was the location? Is there a location that matches the description of the location? All of that is gonna have to come out. And if he wasn't there and there is no such white mansion with the thing that she's describing, then I don't think this is gonna go very far. I think they should be able to falsify these claims if they're not true. Yeah.
Denied everything about Jane Doe's account and pointed to some alleged inconsistencies in her story.
And there were inconsistencies.
Not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true. It's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened.
The judge writing that while Jane Doe can remain anonymous for now, she may be required to reveal her identity at a later date to allow Jay-Z's lawyers to collect facts necessary to prepare for trial.
So, by the way, the person who she claims drove her there is no longer alive. Her dad doesn't remember driving her back from New York City. So those are already two big gaps in her whole story.
Yeah, and so even Jay-Z's lawyers don't know. So it's not just that it can't be released publicly. It's that she's still an anonymous person to them. That's kind of sucks.
Yeah, go ahead.
In times when someone is accused of a crime like this, the accuser doesn't want to be named. And if they are forced to be named, we have seen certain people decide to drop the lawsuit altogether.
What if she did reveal her name and then Jay-Z was like, oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, take me in.
This is a sickness. Yo, the AI videos of him and Diddy being arrested are so trippy. Yeah, it's wild. Don't look them up. Oh my God.
Morgan Norwood, thank you. And Tony Busby, the lawyer representing Jay-Z and Diddy's accuser, says in a statement to ABC News, quote, I will say that the coordinated and desperate efforts to attack me as counsel for alleged victims are falling flat. We won't be bullied or intimidated.
So both sides are saying this whole, like, we won't be bullied, we won't be bullied.
Yeah.
But both, you should feel that way. If you're Jay-Z and this really didn't happen, you should feel like, nah, you're not fun to just do this whole thing to me because I'm friendly with this weirdo, right? Now, there's a whole cloud of stuff around Jay-Z. And then on the flip side, if you're filing this whole thing and you really claim this happened to you, your lawyer should be the same way. You're not just going to bully us.
I have a question.
Yep.
How did Cat Williams know all this stuff was going to come to light in 2024?
Man, I don't know. That dude,
'cause it's getting weirder.
That dude was, he's supposed to be doing something different with his life to be able to get this much accuracy. He's supposed to be a V1 church or something. Get Pagani on the phone. He called all this. I'm excited to bring you guys our very first 3-day conference called the Bless God Summit, happening March 27th, 28th, 29th in Southern California. And at this conference, we'll have your very own Preston Perry.
Me as an evangelist, I've made it up in my mind that I'm not going to leave people with an excuse not to serve Jesus.
Dr. Sean McDowell.
If there's one thing Christians should care about, it's truth.
Our vision with this conference is to equip, empower, and inspire people to do the work of the ministry that God has for them in this time. And at this conference, we'll have your very own Alan Parr and his wife, Jim Parr.
The number one reason, people want to get divorced because they want to find someone else who can make them happy. Now, what they don't realize, they're chasing the wind.
John McCrae from What Do You Mean?
What you may be shocked or you may not be shocked to know is that the majority of Christians in America, they don't know how to articulate the message of the gospel to non-believers.
Lila Rose.
Love and marriage go together, that sex and marriage go together, that sex can bring life into the world. And that's an amazing thing. That's not a bad thing.
Trizzle Fitness.
Most people fail at dieting because they're just trying to lose weight too fast. What are you in such a rush for?
But where a lot of people get stuck is figuring out what it looks like to walk in that. And so these 3 pillars of our conference will be covering everything from apologetics to family in the home and the marketplace, and how you can lean into those 3 pillars to discover your calling on this side of eternity.